Well, the time has come to finally get the Defiant finished. I need to move on to some other projects and get those going, and really want to get back on my the original series 1350 Enterprise Z, as well as continue working on my Katinga. So it's time to get the decals on here. As many of you know, the decals that came with this kit failed, and I had to order new decals from JT Graphics, and that's what we're going to be putting on. I just got done coating the model just a little bit ago with a fresh coat of Pledge Future. It used to be just called Future, now it's called Pledge Floor Care Future, which is a gloss coat product, an acrylic clear coat. So I've coated the model and it's just about dry, and it's time to get these decals going. So let's take a look at them. Okay, here's a quick little overview of what you get in the package. So it's listed out in my other review of these decals. You get an instruction sheet showing all the placement of the decals and how to apply them, and important information on how to work with the decals. And you also get these orthos that show the bottom view and the placement of the decals there, and the front view. And here are the decals themselves. They're all on one sheet, and they're very nice decals. There's actually more here than what came with the kit originally, so I'll be putting these on. So let's get started, and hopefully I'll be able to show you some pretty good work, I hope, on the placement of these onto the model. Well, some decals are on. This is the registered decal in the front, and then the yellow squares that are on the sides. I have no idea what those are supposed to be for. The top pennant is on, U.S.S. Defiant, with the lines running down top. These side pieces are on both sides of the model in these areas. Just got done putting some microsol on them to make sure they lay down really good, especially these up here where they have to conform. And then there are some more squares back on the back part of the ship. So that's drying, and hopefully those will set up really good. Then I'll spray this with a coat of Future, so they'll be somewhat protected before I start working on some more. The ones that's got me most concerned are the ones that wrap around the nacelles in here and come down all the way up underneath to these parts down here and wrap around those. Those are going to be, I think, the most difficult ones that I'll have to put on, that I'll have to deal with. Most of the ones on the bottom don't look like they're that big of a deal. There is a little one that I still need to add back here on the back that didn't come, I don't believe, with the set with the kit, but the new set, it's a little bit of an extension of this line, this pennant line. Now these right here are originals from the original manufacturer's set, which I don't want to remove. They were already on the model, so I'll be adding this one little piece back here, and then I'll quickly get some Future on here, and so I can flip this model over safely and start putting them underneath. Well, here's some decals on. I've used most of them that were on the sheet. There were a few that were already laid down from the manufacturer's sheet, as I mentioned before, that I've kept. So I'm almost done with this model. I have to clean up the bulkheads with a little bit of a light leak here and do a little touch-up painting on those. Those opened up with the handling of the model. I need to lay another coat of Future down on the model to protect it, and after I get that done, I'll put a coat of dull coat on the model. I do want to make mention that these decals, that as they've been printed, have been coated with Testors clear flat lacquer, and using an enamel on top of the lacquer coating on these decals can cause damage to the decals. So I just want to point out that in case anyone doesn't remember, you can apply lacquer over enamel, but not enamel over lacquer. So if you seal these decals, which you should definitely seal them with a lacquer clear coat or lacquer dull coat, or a product like Future, so that there's no damage to them. Using an enamel on top of these will eat these decals up and will cause them to fail. Working with them was relatively easy, as I mentioned before. I did, however, use two products, both from Microscale Industries. I used Microset on them, which is a setting solution for decals, and where I needed to get them to conform around some curves or bumps, I used some Microsol. This, in some cases, I had to put 3 coats on it to get the decals to suck down and adhere to the model really well. So these are two good products that I recommend. You can get them directly from Microscale's website, but you can also get them from hobby shops and other hobby online stores. One other thing I need to remember to point out is that this decal sheet is a full sheet decal. It's not like the manufacturer's decals where they are pre-cut on the sheet, so you will have to trim every decal on the sheet individually so that you'll have a good fit. Otherwise you'll just have one huge blob of a decal, or as my British friends say, decals. But one of the things I did also point out looking at my viewfinder, my screen on my camera, is that it appears that there's a whole bunch of wild, weird light issues there, but those in reality to the naked eye are all solid. There doesn't need to be any more light blocking. For some reason the camera is really blurring those out and making it look like there's a lot of light problems around those windows, but they are light blocked correctly to the naked eye. My overall impression of these decals from JT Graphics is that they are actually very good decals. I had very little trouble with them. Some of the very thin pinstripes obviously needed some tender loving care, and I actually had to cut a few of them to get them on the model correctly, because they're so long they're very hard to deal with, but that's the way they are in the manufacturer's decals as well. So overall I'm very pleased. This gap right here is actually a gap in the decals. It's supposed to be there, and it's the same on both sides. So overall I'm very pleased. These decals are very well done. The color reproduction is excellent. They hold up quite well. Overall I'm really pleased. I would use them again. I would definitely recommend them as replacement decals for this model kit. And given my experience, I think if you're going to build this kit, you should just go ahead and get the replacement decals right off the bat, and not probably even attempt to use the manufacturer's decals, because given the age of when this kit was released, odds are they're probably not going to work very well for you. I mean, I went through the trouble of taking the original decals and putting decal film on top of them from Microscale. I forget what that product's called, but you spread it on the decals to reinforce them, and it still didn't work. But these from JT Graphics are excellent, and I do highly recommend them. Also, they come in 2 versions. I forgot to mention that. They come in the NX version, which you see here, and they also come in the NCC version for the Defiant, as it was seen in later in Star Trek. I think in DS9, and definitely in one of the movies. One of the last things I need to do also on the kit is I need to go in and put micro crystal clear in all the window ports because they are a little bit bright, and I definitely need to get those added in as well. But I'm almost finished, so these few items of touching up on the bulkheads and putting in the micro crystal clear in the windows, and then it's on to finishing the base, and finally my Defiant's done, and I'll be moving on to finishing my Katinga project and the original series 1/350 scale Enterprise from Polar Lights round 2. Thank you for watching, and everyone, I hope you have a good time modeling.